This is my last harvest from my garden, and it looks so lush and beautiful. And especially when I was taking everything away, it was a little bit sad because I know it's going to be all the way through another couple of seasons before I see my garden again. And I did use the freezer and I did dry a few things, but the freezer was probably my main thing, and also for smoothies. Most of these will be for smoothies. The tomatoes were very abundant, so I have some of that for my sauces. And then, of course, I had some blooms. The cosmos did pretty well. I didn't have as big of a harvest as I did in the prior years. And I did have sunflowers. I had hydrangeas this year. They were there last year, but they weren't very big. And so they are getting a little bit more big, which is really lovely. And I always like to wash everything off really well and then soak them, and then also then just kind of plop them in these vintage and crystal vases that I have. And the cosmos, they were probably my favorite. They just smell so lovely, and they're edible, and they just kind of dangle. They just have such a vintage vibe to me. So these were in the sitting room because I do get these few burgundy tones with this. Mostly they're pink, but the burgundy ones are really, really pretty. So it's much more lovelier than what these photos are showing. Also, the choir began again, which is so much fun for me to look forward to, and it's so spiritual as well. The church is so beautiful, and it was really nice to begin. It's during the week, during an evening, and also Sunday, and of course, there's the holidays. I started to take the garden down. I do like to hang some things around. I just like the look of it. Want to use vintage things as much as possible. Just keep things really simple, or anything from my garden for decorating. My morning glories did very well. I only planted them on one side of my arch, and the vine has wrapped itself around. And this year I did grow corn. I knew I was going to use it for decorating. I do take the corn off, and I did as well use the sunflowers, and I have done that in the past, but not as much. The squirrels will run off with them, the heads of them, and it's fine. I don't mind. There's a lot of branches that I use, so it really is the main focus that I like. I like that dried branches and the corn mixed in it. The cosmos will start to dry back and they'll look a little more spookier for Halloween. And I do have one pumpkin. I do want to grab a few more, but I like the French style, and I haven't seen those yet and where I'm shopping, so I'm going to wait. And as well, I did bring out one little ghost. I'm also decorating on the inside, but I haven't started that. I usually wait till October, and there's just some vintage things that I have that I will put up around the house. And then after Halloween, I like to get right into a short period where I have that more autumnal time for Thanksgiving, and then of course there's Christmas. The trees are just starting to turn a little bit, and it is a little colder, and then it's warmer still during the day. Love bringing out my vintage glassware, and we were celebrating a birthday at the old house, so this was really fun to have everything out. And I always make something that this cake that I like to make, this celebration cake. I usually make it actually around Christmas time, but I think I'm going to make a chocolate one this year for Christmas. But we did have the cake, and it was really yummy. This is something that I call the Lighthouse Walk. This is Lake Michigan, where I live, just a few blocks away. And it's quite a walk. You have to walk to the path to get to the walkway to the lighthouse, and then you have to walk all the way out and then back again. It was really rainy, and it wasn't raining when we were out there, but it was very windy, and it wasn't actually as cold as I thought it was going to be, but it was thundering in the background, and it was a little bit spooky, but I actually really liked it. And then, of course, there's this ship that they have taken from the lake, and they put it, right near where this lighthouse is, so you could walk through it and look around and really get a feel of what it was like at the time when maybe it was new. And it's a shipwreck. There is a little bit of a story about it, and I'm not going to really get into that. I have been to this before, but I do think visually it was really interesting to just be able to see it. And also, it was just part of our walk to the lighthouse. We just wanted to do this as well. And also, we did do a few other things with this, but I didn't film. There's a little ice cream store that we always go to, a little shop. And then we went to a few vintage shops. One was an estate shop where they buy things, and then they, after the estate sells, that nobody buys, and then they bring them to this shop, and you can, it's kind of like where everything's really cluttery, and you can just go in and get things really less expensive than what they would have been at the estate sale. And I didn't film any of that. I will next time, because they're only open once a week, and I do want to go back and look around and take my time, and hopefully they're going to be open throughout the winter as well. My mood board for the end of September, moving into October, which is the beginning of autumn, is this easy living 1970s style. And I also want to try to use some of this for 2026, when I like to do a few things new and different for 2026. And part of that's going to be having my wardrobe more in more of a neat way of being able to attain the things I want to wear, the looks I want to wear. And these are some of the inspirations that I just adore. I do love the long hair. I do think I want to cut my fringe. I usually like to change something once a year, and my birthday is late autumn, so I think I might add a long fringe. And also using more of this brass tones through the home. And this is my favorite look with this jacket. I love this winter jacket. Like the mittens, the jacket, and the floral in the jacket. I think even just sewing something like this in velvet or some sort of cotton would be wonderful as well. Do want to use more candlelight during the winter months, and this is something for my sitting room. I do have some of these tones already in there, and I do need to do a little sewing. This is from the 1930s, which looks a lot like the 70s, which another decade that I just adore. So these are some of my inspirations from my mood board, and I hope you found some inspiration.